You know that little number on your humidity meter? It's got to be one of the most misunderstood and misused numbers in our entire home. We see it, we react, but today we're going to dig in and find out what story it's really telling. So picture this. You walk into a room, you glance over at your hygrometer, and boom, it reads 70% relative humidity. Is that the moment you panic and start Googling mold specialists, or do you just kind of shrug it off and keep going? It's a question a lot of us face. Well, here's the truth. That single number, all by itself, is practically meaningless. I mean it. Without any context, it's not a final verdict on your home's health. It's just a clue. And today, we're going to learn how to piece all those clues together. First up, let's talk about the trap that so many of us fall into. Why do we give so much power to just a single, lonely number? Honestly, it's just human nature, right? We want a simple, quick answer. We see some chart online with a so-called safe zone, and if our number is outside of it, we immediately think, oh no, I've got a problem. That number feels like solid, definitive proof. But really, all that approach does is turn a potentially helpful tool into a source of stress and confusion. So, to get out of that trap, we've got to go back to square one and really understand what that number is actually measuring. And spoiler alert, it's not as simple as just how much water is in the air. The key word here, the most important word, is relative. It's not the total absolute amount of water vapor, it's a percentage of how full the air is right now. And the air's capacity to hold water is completely dependent on one other absolutely crucial factor, the temperature. This slide just illustrates it perfectly. Think of it this way. Warm air is like a big pint glass. Cold air is like a tiny espresso cup. Now, they can both be 70% full, right? But that pint glass is holding way, way more water. So as the air in your home cools down, its glass literally shrinks and the relative humidity goes up, even if not a single extra drop of moisture was added to the room. Okay, so now that we get that critical fact about temperature, let's look at how it completely shatters the way we should look at those single, one-off readings. Now, this is really interesting. This shows a pretty typical 24-hour cycle inside a house. Just look at that swing. The humidity climbs and climbs as the temperature drops overnight. And nobody was taking a long, steamy shower or boiling pasta at 4 in the morning. This change is driven purely by that drop in temperature, as the air's glass gets smaller and smaller. So you might take a reading at 3 p.m., see this number, and think, 55%, perfect, everything's great. You might even pat yourself on the back and put the meter away. But that one comfortable reading, it tells you absolutely nothing about that 75% peak that's happening in the dead of night, which could easily be causing condensation. Or maybe you just open the windows and aired out the room, so you're getting a falsely low number. It doesn't tell you about the moisture trapped in the walls, and it certainly doesn't tell you what's going on in that colder north-facing bedroom. It's just one single frame in a much, much longer movie. And here it is. This is the real aha moment. The actual risk of condensation and mold isn't just about the air. It's about where that air touches a surface that's cold enough to reach what's called the dew point. That's the temperature where the air gets 100% full and has to start dropping its water. This is exactly why you find mold behind a wardrobe that's pushed up against an external wall. The air in the middle of the room might seem fine, but that wall surface is cold enough to trip the wire and trigger condensation, day after day. So if these single snapshots are so misleading, how in the world do we get to the truth? Well, we have to stop being number takers and start being humidity detectives. It is all about looking for the patterns. This right here is your new toolkit. You're not looking for one magic number anymore. You're looking for the rhythm of your home. How does the humidity rise and fall every day? How quickly does the bathroom recover after a shower? Does that bedroom humidity spike every single night? You're using the numbers to understand the behavior of your building. And this is exactly why having more than one sensor is a total game changer. You might see a perfectly acceptable average in your living room, but at the same time, the bedroom is consistently higher, probably because it's a bit colder. Each room tells its own unique story, and comparing them gives you the real map of your home's moisture landscape. All right, this brings us to our final and honestly, our most important takeaway. It's all about shifting our mindset away from looking for a simple verdict and toward gathering meaningful evidence. So, the crucial point is this. Stop treating your hygrometer like it's a judge that's going to give you a simple pass or fail. Start treating it like the investigative tool it is. Use it to find the patterns, to compare different spaces in your home, and to add real data to what you can already see with your own two eyes. Let this be your new mantra. Seriously, the data is there to help you understand why you might be seeing an issue, or to confirm that, hey, things are actually working pretty well. It informs your judgment. It doesn't get to make the final call. You do. Because in the end, it really all comes down to this. Once you start looking for the patterns, understanding that critical relationship with temperature, and connecting the data to the physical space, that's when you can finally move beyond just the numbers and start reading the true story your home is telling you day in and day out.